quickly consider the following topics: how to order numbers in ascending or descending order of magnitude, then how to find the reciprocals of numbers, and as well as the inverse. Inverse, we have two types of inverse. We have the additive inverse and we have multiplicative inverse. So here, number one, we have arranged these fractions in ascending order of magnitude, that is from the smallest to the biggest. In doing this, all we have to do is, let us check, can we find the LCM of the denominators? That is the LCM of 5, 3, 6, and 10. The LCM of these four denominators is 30. So for the purpose of the pupils just joining us, go back to the previous videos and watch how to find the LCM of numbers. So you see how to find the LCM of 5, 3, 6, and 10. How it is 30. So in that case, that means if you have 4 over 5, for denominator to become 30, that means what do you use to multiply 5 to become 30? It is 6. That means it is 6. So use the same 6 to multiply up. This one will become 24 over 30. That means 24 over 30 can be simplified into 4 over 5. Let us check 2 over 3. If the denominator has become 30, that means it is 10 that multiplies it. It is 10 that multiplies it. Let that 10 multiply the numerator to it becomes 20. Then the next one, we have 5 over 6. If this has become something over 30, we want all the fractions to have common denominators. So that means what do you use to multiply 6 to become 30? It is 5. Since it is 5, use that 5 to multiply numerator. This one becomes 25 over 30. And lastly, where we have 7 over 10, if this has become the equivalent fraction of one of the equivalent fractions of 7 over 10, if you have something over 30, that means what do you use to multiply 10 to become 30 is 3. Is 3. Use the same 3 to multiply 7, and you get 21 over 30. That means 21 over 30 is reducible back into 7 over 10 by saying 3 in 21, 7, 3 in 30, 10. So in this case, we can see now that the smallest, if we want to arrange this, the smallest of all the fractions, the first one gave us this, the second one gave us this, the third one gave us this, and the fourth one gave us this. So if you look at this one means 24 out of 30, this one means 20 out of 30, 25 out of 30, then 21 out of 30. That means the smallest, if you look at the numerator, is 20. The smallest is 20, and which one transformed into 20 over 30? It was 2 over 3. So that means the fraction will be arranged as 2 over 3 is the smallest that gave 20 over 30, followed by the next one is 21 over 30. It was 7 over 10 that became that. 7 over 10. After 21, we have 24. 24 over 30, and it was 4 over 5 that became that. So that is 4 over 5. And the biggest one is 25 over 30, which was given by 5 over 6. 5 over 6. So that means the fraction 4 over 5, 2 over 3, 5 over 6, and 7 over 10. If you arrange it in ascending order of magnitude from the smallest to the biggest, the smallest of them is 2 over 3, followed by 7 over 10, so up to 5 over 6. 5 over 6 is the largest of the fractions. And we quickly go to number 2, where we have to find the reciprocal of each of these numbers. Reciprocal means it's simply as if you have 5 as a whole number, if you want 5 as a number If you want to write it in ratio form as a fraction, it means 5/1. So when you ask to find the reciprocal of a number, just invert this. Let the denominator comes up and numerator go down. So it becomes 1/5. That means reciprocal of 5 is 1/5. Here, reciprocal of 3. This 3 as a whole number, it means 3/1. So the reciprocal is 1/3. Then the reciprocal of 3/7, just reverse the order of the fraction. So it becomes 7/3, or equivalence, which is 1/3 when you convert this into mixed fraction. Here we want to talk about the inverse. We want to talk about, under inverse, we have two types of inverse. We have additive inverse and we have multiplicative inverse. When we talk about the additive inverse, for example, the additive inverse of -100 implies what number do you add to 100 such that the result will be 0. So the number that you add to the multiplicative inverse of this is plus 100. If you say -100 plus 100, it will give you 0. So what you add to another number that will make it 0. So in this case, simply just change the sign. If the sign here is negative, change it to positive. If it was positive, change it to negative. That is all, to cater for it. For example, 1/6 is positive, just change it to negative. That is it. If you say 1/6 plus -1/6, it will give you 0. Then multiplicative inverse. This one is simply what you use to multiply this, that the result will be 1. For example, if I have 3, the multiplicative inverse of 3 is 1/3. It's 1/3. Because if I say 3 times 1/3, so this cancel this 1. So the result will be 1. That means 1/3 is the multiplicative inverse of 3. And 3 is the multiplicative inverse of 1/3. So the multiplicative inverse of this is the number that you use to multiply this. In other words, just use the reciprocal of this, same thing as multiplicative inverse. So the multiplicative inverse of -5 is 1/-5. And that of x, multiplicative inverse of x, of a number x, is 1/x. The additive inverse of this number, A, you find the additive inverse of -2/3, and you find the additive inverse of 1. Then number 2, arrange in descending order of magnitude. Descending order of magnitude. So you arrange for us. We have 1/2. We have 2/5. We have 3/7. So you help us arrange these three fractions from the biggest to the smallest. Don't forget to like the page and also subscribe to it so as to promote it. We try to follow as much as possible the scheme so that it will cover the whole thing, will cover from primary 4 up to primary 6. And we'll be able to cover everything the upper primary school needs for common entrance. Thank you.